out of all the times to become an official content creator, you just have to do it during the pandemic. Hindi ba siya stressful? Hindi ba siya nakakaya? Tungkol sa naman ang content mo? Well, kung katulad kita, you made a blog, you created an artwork account, you recorded a podcast, you posted song covers online, ngayong global health crisis, whether you're still doing it or not, then this video is for you. This channel, shared by Andrew B, is celebrating 1-year anniversary, and yes, I'm officially 1 year old on being a YouTuber. My very first video was uploaded here on my channel noong July 1, 2020, and since then, I have made multiple video essays and at the same time written many blog posts discussing my core topics. I wish I could tell everyone that it was smooth sailing, pero it can get really mentally draining at times, given the pandemic situation. And dapat din na tayo magulat no, if other YouTube celebrities feel the same way. One example is Nigahiga, one of the OG comic YouTubers who's been here for more than a decade, suddenly stopped creating content. His last video sketch was around May 2020 pa, and since then, he has not yet been felt by the YouTube community. This is probably caused by the stress of the pandemic, pero we can never know.
And in fact, America is still number 1, leading the entire world in both COVID-19 infections and death.
And another one is Matt Diavela, a minimalist and productivity content creator who have been posting videos weekly for the longest time. But he admitted in one of his videos during this pandemic where he said na from weekly basis, he will now be uploading every after 2 weeks because COVID-19 is getting the best of him.
Kind of feel like I had to do everything. I started to let things go. And the one thing that you'll even notice this year is that I've started to upload much less YouTube videos. And so making a video every single week all year long, I realized was just too much.
And I can totally relate. Naks, ka-level mo sila. Nope, that's not my point, but I get the stress that comes along with this. There were weeks na I just can't push myself to write the video essay. There are times that I just don't feel like doing it. Pwede bang humiga na lang sa kama? But creating content shouldn't be that hard kasi marami ng mga YouTubers, podcasters, TikTokers, OnlyFanners that came before us. And they have been very supportive in giving out these tips on how to be a content creator, on how to create your niche content, your desired content. And these things, they all appear to be sound pieces of advice, but those things work in a world before the pandemic. Well, here are some of the things that are recommended. Kailangan mag-post ka consistently, week after week, after week, after week. Ipakita mo yung totoong ikaw. Stress na ako. Create quality content na paiba-iba at may variety.
That this political mess would have one less TDS.
You know what? If I were Duterte, I would make a playbook of distractions. Hi, hope you like my song cover. Duterte. It's just difficult to execute these things, lalo na kung burnout, anxious, tired, and frustrated na tayong lahat. Well, there are those who do this for escapism, to momentarily forget the toxic world outside, and that's okay as long as wala kang tinatapakang ibang tao. Walang basagan ng trip. Meron ding ibang kating-kating ma-express ang opinion and frustration and observation nila, their struggles during this lockdown, and they wanted to share their thoughts out. And I am one of them. We have different reasons of why we pursue content creation. To educate, to entertain, to inspire, and we have varying method and medium of doing this. Pero kung meron isang reason na talaga magko-co-op ng lahat ng to, na pare-parehas tayong lahat, it is that we feel good in expressing ourselves with the content that we put out. And I think that reason alone should suffice. Kung wala namang third-party harm and it's all about self-expression, then just let people be. We will never know how valuable the kind of freedom of expression can bring to someone. Maybe it's the one thing keeping them sane, productive, and happy during quarantine. But before I address the creators of this content, I also want to give a shout out to the consumers. Well, primarily for those na pinatulan talaga yung content namin, pinanood, pinakinggan, nilike, kayo na who keeps on indulging us with what we do. Well, thank you very much. You know who you are. 1 year in, and every time I get a new subscriber, you brighten up my day. So thank you for the first 227 subscribers on my channel. I'm 100% sure that all other content creators are grateful every day for your support. But in general, if you're part of the audience of your friends na naging content creators, nakikita mo naman siguro yung mga pinopost naming mga baguhang content creators. And I guess kailangan ma-point out din to, especially during this time, alam nyo ba na ang form of support with the least cost that you can do is, I'm not pertaining to clicking, following, subscribing, or sharing our work. And I'm not saying this to fish or guilt trip you to do that on my content. No, but genuinely, it's really not the point. But the truly cost-free way of showing support, yung di mo na kailangan mag-effort, is non-hate. Ignore us. Wait, let me explain. Trust me, lahat ng kumanta sa IG Live, lahat na nag-share ng artwork sa Facebook, or gumagawa ng mga podcasts, We all know that many people can see what we do. At nakaka-anxious at nakaka-conscious yun halos lahat ng platforms merong metric or way to count the views or visits sa mga platforms ng content namin. And a part in us cringe, shit, nakita ng boss ko. Oh, fuck, na-view ng tita ko. Oh no, online ng mama ko. But that is something we can and we have to overcome eventually. But generally speaking, being seen and ignored by people will not impact us negatively in the same way that one rude or hateful comment would do. Marami yan. I've seen many memes making fun of people dancing on TikTok na kinain na doon on TikTok. And some TikTok celebrities get a lot of bashing from anonymous comments tulad na lang ni Inka Magnaye. You see this comment? The one who posted it, sigurado ako, they were not attacked by the voiceover short videos of Inka, but they still said this even if they could have easily ignored Inka. O diba, bashing requires effort and they still did it. This happens kasi during the pandemic, significantly tumaas ang online presence ng mga tao and that includes trolls and anonymous haters. And this is one challenge we content creators have to deal with. You know what? There are many reasons why someone would stop with their passion project. Getting busy, deciding to take on a new endeavor, or a pandemic. And all of these are environmental and situational reasons. But out of all the possible causes, I think the one thing that's kind of sad is if it was prompted by unkind internet people. Feeling unmotivated at times is normal and coming from within. Pero pag ikaw ay nade-discourage na dahil sa mga sinasabi or mga reaction ng tao, I think that's a tougher battle to face on. And with that, my message for content creators like me, especially the ones who started during this pandemic, grabe no, this is more challenging. Mental fortitude talaga, no? So firstly, pat ourselves on the back because we're seriously doing more than what content creators started doing before the pandemic. At hindi to palabok with our own circle of friends and our social bubbles, the content we put out starts a conversation even if you're just talking to one person, one viewer, one listener, one lover of your art, even if you're just talking to that one person. And that is art and free speech working for the benefit of everyone. It would be a nice idea to think that we somehow made someone feel better by the content that we put out. Kahit isang tao lang. Kahit yung mama mo lang. And when imposter syndrome strikes, always think about why you started, how it felt planning this, that good feeling. You have this creative vision na nagsimula ka nito, and that's one solid thing that you should own. Not everybody was brave enough to start the first step. And if sometimes you felt down, well, same. Always remember that you probably did all the right things. It's just that the global health crisis like this one brings unexpectedly distressing days. And for those who stopped, who decided to no longer produce content, know that it's a valid decision. I know a lot of friends who made a TikTok account, a YouTube channel, or a podcast, but they quietly pulled the plug. Well, babalik at babalik tayo doon sa time na you were at your peak of motivation. I am sure that you felt good at that time, even sa kasagsagan ng pandemic, imagine. And that already is a benefit you were able to reap when you try to be a content creator, even if temporary lang yon. I hope you realize that even if you only became a content creator for a short period of time, that activity was your coping mechanism at that time. And that's worth celebrating. But of course, for those like me who are continuing with this, I celebrate with you for every episode you recorded, every article you published, every illustration you shared. It's always nice to be in a community of creators, and all of these people that you can see here are fellow creators like me who did something new during the pandemic. And even if you have different content, themes, and medium, this kind of common experience that I had with them, at nakikita ko na nag-upload pa rin sila, nakikita ko nagpo-post pa rin sila, we pull each other up and keeps me motivated na, sige, kaya ko to, sasabay ako. Isn't it nice to have this as one of our pandemic story? One that we will share to our kids, to our relatives, to our friends. Once we have our post-pandemic inuman kung kamusta, anong ginawa mo ng pandemic? It's cute. In the same way that there are COVID-19 babies, let's embrace the fact that there is a batch of content creators who were born during the pandemic. So yeah, needless to say, please like, subscribe, comment, react, and if you have suggestions, any topic that you would want me to share on this channel, you can message me or PM me in all of my social media accounts. I'm harmless. Message nyo ko. This is shared by Andrew B, 1 year older, and I'm not stopping from oversharing. I hope you stick around because I have more exciting videos in the coming weeks.